Hey y'all, this is Julie Rico. I know today there's a lot of going on with the playoffs, but I will get that update later on in the next video as soon as I talk about the NBA lottery, which happened a few like 3 hours ago. But here I have the top 10 right here, um, which has been official. It is actually official. The Atlanta Hawks have the number one overall pick of the 2024 NBA draft. My surprise, that's the surprise of them all. Here's why. They only had a 3% chance of getting that number one overall pick. Who were the teams to get that number one pick? They were teams like Detroit, who would need the number one pick. Washington was behind him. The Hornets, San Antonio, Houston. It was not them five. It was the Atlanta Hawks. And now we're now discussing what is this going to mean for the Atlanta Hawks. Well, this is where I do believe, in my theory, Trae Young is going to leave Atlanta. And this is just a bold prediction. I think Trae Young will leave Atlanta, and will go somewhere else, and they'll draft a young star like Alex Sor from France, or whoever they draft. Alex Sor is the top prospect in this year's class, maybe the projected number one overall pick. But Atlanta, they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do with the number one pick. They will. I do think they're going to stick with that pick. And then the question will be, are they going to trade Trae Young? He's been a superstar in Atlanta. I like how he plays on the court, way he shoots the threes, puts some layups. A lot of teams are going to be interesting in Trae Young. A lot of them are going to be really interesting. And this is going to be one of those off seasons that we might say, oh, with Atlanta getting the number one pick for the first time ever, what are they going to do with Trae Young? Are they going to trade Trae Young, or are they going to bring in someone to pair with Trae Young? Now, last year, and we all mentioned, it came down to Charlotte Trailblazers or the Spurs to get Wembanyama. And as a Charlotte Hornets fans, we all want Victor Wembanyama. We did not get Wembanyama, but we did not get Scoot Henderson, which I thought Scoot Henderson will make sense. Turns out Brandon Miller comes in Charlotte, and look what he did to this Charlotte team. Now, quoting, that's his team. So now, Charlotte does get the sixth pick under Charles Lee, who's their new head coach. Expect some good draft picks also for day one and day two. And then they're going to go to free agency and build around this Hornets team. So good for the Hornets. They get the sixth pick. I want to talk about the Pistons because this is a curse. This Detroit Pistons team should deserve to get the number one overall pick. And they did not get the number one pick. That's a tough one because if you go back to their history and they're looking for a lottery first overall pick, none of them were success. They did not get it. This year they did not get it. Last year they did not get it. And now here we are again. And looks like the curse for a number one overall pick is going to continue. And that fifth pick is theirs. San Antonio Victor Wembanyama will get the fourth pick. The Houston Rockets, who will get the third pick. This was acquired from the Brooklyn Nets. So the Houston Rockets at number 3. And then the Washington Wizards. They're on searching for a new coach. Brian Kiffey, who was the interim coach for Washington, is probably the primary candidate for this job. They're going to look for other candidates, but it is suspected that Brian Kiffey will probably take this job. Who knows? We'll find out. And then we get to the Atlanta Hawks. I know if you're an Atlanta Hawks fan, you might be thinking, is Trae Young going to be traded? And I already said it earlier. I do think Trae Young is going to get traded. How much are they going to give up Trae Young? Probably 2 future first-round picks, maybe a second, and maybe a player to join Atlanta. Like, think about the Lakers, and I'll say this for example. The Atlanta Hawks are going to trade Trey Henderson to the Lakers for 2 first-round picks and D'Angelo Russell or Russell West, no, or D'Angelo Russell, sorry, to the Atlanta Hawks. That's what I'm thinking this is going to happen for Atlanta. If you're trading Trae Young, it's probably going to be 2 future first-round picks or a third-round pick or a second-round pick and a player to join to Atlanta. Is that going to make sense? And I'll leave y'all in the comments. Where do you think Trae Young will go, or will they trade Trae Young? If not, I don't think they're going to trade him. If you're Atlanta, but if you're the Hawks, and I would be start thinking about the picks right now, and they will go to the combine, scouting the players, and then make the decision on if they're going to stay with Trae Young or not. But as of right now, I'm watching the Nuggets and Timberwolves at halftime. I will give you that game and including the Knicks and Pacers game update and including NHL playoff games as well. But that will do it for this NBA lottery news. The Atlanta Hawks will get the #1 overall pick in the 2024 NBA draft. But I want y'all to let me know in the comment section. Don't forget. Remember, subscribe, leave a comment below, and comments on the section below. Questions of the day: will Trey Henderson leave Atlanta, or will he stay in Atlanta? And as always, we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.